Hello, everyone, and welcome to this podcast with Jim Seacrest. It's the All Over podcast, and tonight we're going to be talking to Cody Knotts. Cody Knotts is director and a filmmaker. He's made several movies, such as Lucifer's Unholy Dare, The Orphanage, Gore Orphanage, sorry, and Pro Wrestlers versus Zombies, and Bleeding Farm. He's and we're going to be talking to him also about a new movie he's making. It's called it's about Kecksburg and the UFO. So in a moment we'll be talking to Cody Knotts. Hello everybody, and welcome again to the podcast. I'm talking to Cody Knotts, and he's a director, and he had some movies that we're going to ask him. I'm going to ask him a few questions about. So how are you today, Cody?
Oh, wonderful. How are you, Jim?
Oh, great, great. I just want to ask you a few questions. I want to ask you a little bit about how'd you get started?
It's called Getting Out of Politics and Going Through a Divorce.
Oh,
So
so what was you in politics? Was you?
I ran for state house twice, and I owned a newspaper, and I helped get candidates elected in Washington County, Pennsylvania, and southwestern PA.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, we're. I'm not too far from here. I'm in Connellsville, and that's in Fayette County. So I guess you probably know where that's at.
Yeah,
Um, so,
I was married. My second marriage was in Connellsville.
oh
So
yeah, yeah. I'm from Scottsdale, but we live in Connellsville. So I'm really familiar with the area and stuff like that. So, anyways, and how did that go about? How did you how did you start you know pursuing this career
well,
in movie?
I've wanted to do this all my life, and I just couldn't admit it to myself. And life was pretty crappy after a long series of things going with politics, and I had to get out of it. So
Hmm.
let's go do something different. So
So,
that's how. Then I just said, how am I gonna do this? And when you want to do something, if you really want to do it, you can push yourself there. A lot of people have dreams, but then they don't fulfill them. And the main thing is action.
mhm.
You have to keep pushing forward.
And so then you just got cameras and started, or did you go to school, or did?
No, I just started, and I went and got people who were supposed to advise us technically. And in all honesty, that was probably a mistake. I should have just done most of it myself, and that's where I'm at now.
Uh-huh.
But we're heading in the right direction, and I mean, you learn from every mistake you make.
Mhm. What was your first movie? Was it Lucifer's Unholy Desire?
Yes. My first movie, I don't know if it was the worst. Maybe my second was the worst, but it's pretty, it's pretty funny in hindsight. I mean, there's some good things to it. I learned some things. I mean, you learn from everything you do,
Uh-huh.
and uh, and I learned don't act in your own films unless it's something very small. That was
Uh-huh.
lesson number. Um, and so, it was an experience, and
Uh-huh.
that was right during going through a divorce and all
Mm.
kinds of right before the divorce.
I see. Yeah, that didn't look too bad though. It looked interesting anyway. What about, and then your next one was the Gore Orphanage?
Well, I made a film that's out of circulation in between, which I don't like to talk about, and then I made Glory Orphanage with. Actually, I made Pro Wrestlers next,
Oh, okay.
um,
Yeah.
and we made Pro Wrestlers versus Zombies with Roddy Piper and Kurt Angle and Matt Hardy
How
and
was you
Hacksaw. And
how was you able to get all them? How was you able to get them guys?
I went to Shane Douglas, and I went to school at Bethany College, West Virginia, and I always make a joke that what I got out of my college education was contacts in professional wrestling.
Uh-huh.
And so went to Shane, we raised the money, and it took a while. It was
Uh-huh.
never giving up on the idea and pushing through until we had the money in place to make the film. Uh, and then it was just lining up the wrestlers, but they had to have somebody they knew
Uh-huh.
who could get to them directly. So the key was getting Shane on board first.
Okay. Yeah, that was the first thing I saw when I looked you up. I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. You got to work with like some cool people that I grew up watching and stuff like that. Especially from Roddy Piper. I didn't realize he was in that movie. I just didn't think he did too many movies. But that was interesting. I really I saw the your the trailer of it and stuff. It looks really good, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
So did you?
That was a fun film.
I bet. Did you write that as well? Was it?
Yes.
Did you?
Yeah, I wrote it. I directed it. And I was involved in production, but there was three main producers who determined a lot of the financials.
Yeah, it really, like I said, that really looked good. And then you did a Bleeding Form.
Yes, that was in between.
That's the one you didn't want to talk. Don't want to talk about. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I hate that film. That film's never ending problems and hassles.
I see.
But, we made it. I'm in it. I acted in it. Made the same mistake twice. I mean, I have a small role in that. And I mean, I act in pro wrestlers too. So I've acted in all but the current film. I do not believe I will act in Kecksburg. And I say that with there's a caveat. I might end up being a guest attendant or something.
Okay.
In one. So, but that's still up in the air.
Be like Stan Lee in a way, where he just makes an appearance and that sort of thing.
There's a chance that I'll appear in one little scene in the film. I mean, it's filling someone's gas tank. I mean, really small, tiny thing. But because I'm shooting this film, it's really hard for me to appear in because I have to hand the camera off to somebody else.
Right. And like I said, this is your new movie, and it's called Kecksburg. Just regular Kecksburg or Kecksburg UFO or.
It's just Kecksburg, but it's based on the Kecksburg UFO in 1965. So it's a period piece. It'll be the second time we've done a period piece. We did that with Gore Orphanage.
Okay.
Which we filmed in Scottsdale.
Oh, in Scottsdale, really? I didn't know that, and I lived there. I did not know that. Wow. Where we're at in Scottsdale?
That old mansion in the middle of town.
Wow.
Some Colbert's house. We filmed there.
Wow. That's interesting. I did not know. I don't know where I was then. I was probably, not living there at the time. But that's cool. Interesting. So, do you like making movies around this area? I
mean, I like making movies when people get excited about the process, and I like exciting people in a community. So if you make a film in an area where people are used to having filming, I live at West Point now. So if you make a film in the Hudson Valley in New York, they're like, oh, this is an exciting, and it's all about how much money can they get. And when you're making low budget, ultra low budget films or nearly no budget, you have to have community support. And in the case of Kecksburg, we're dealing with something that will actually aids the community. And so that's why we've had a lot of help from the fire department and a lot of people. I mean, we wouldn't have gotten this far without them.
Right. Yeah, and it was big around here. I know my sister-in-law, her uncle was one of the ones that actually saw it going down or whatever, and he's even on a couple of the documentaries for the History Channel. So yeah, it was really interesting. I'm thinking about talking to a guy that they interviewed not too long ago that's wrote a book a few times, and I'm thinking about trying to get him on my podcast as well to talk a little bit about it as well. So now, is this like historical, or is this a little bit fiction as far as the movie?
Oh, it's a feature film, so it's absolutely a fictional retelling of the events of December 9th, 1965.
Okay. I saw that you had like So you're saying that you think some of it's a cover up because like a Johnson. I saw Johnson. I saw the trailer a little bit, and I saw Johnson. And it was sort of like you guys are like using it like a cover up or in some way.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I mean, we don't hide it very much in there. That you know, one of the characters, Senator Byrd, discusses with, asks the question, aliens.
Uh,
So we're not hiding the fact that that's the premise of the story, but that's not what the story is really about.
I see.
I mean, it's about the events of that night, and it's about the life of John Murphy and the death of John Murphy. So
I see.
that's our focus.
And he
And we
was.
haven't filmed. We're going to be filming in December the stuff with John Murphy.
Oh, okay. And he
Some
was
of it.
he was a real
Maybe more
person. He was a real person.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Said some of this stuff I really I've there's been so much stuff going on about that and sometimes I just don't keep up with it, and I'm glad though that you're making a movie here. That's great, because it's interesting that I get a chance to talk to you about it because it's it's going to be a pretty cool movie to see and to see people. Do you have any actors or anything that are from around here?
There is some local people. In fact, the opening sequence is going to be filmed with a girl from Mount Pleasant.
Oh, okay.
That came as an extra. I mean, this is one of the neat things about film. These people, we had the big street scene in Mount Pleasant.
Mm-hmm.
We had a group of people that were in the street scene, and we pulled some people out to be in the pharmacy. So I pulled those people out, and then from those people in the pharmacy scene, we actually ended up using two of the young women who came in larger roles. One is being used as a stand-in, that if we fall short on some of the money, we'll be replacing an actor. There's a long story there that they're not going into that. But anyways, the second person, we actually wrote the opening of the film to utilize them. This young woman came in, Kaylin Utzi, and she's really attractive, and we wanted to find a way to use her in the film. So we had an opening that we were considering doing for the title sequence.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's going to be the main person in the title sequence. So, and she works at UPS and just, but she's 20 years old. And, if you saw her on the street, this is the weird thing about film. There's people that people think are attractive, and there's people that are cinematically attractive, and they're different.
Mm-hmm.
And so her facial features will stand out when we do the makeup and the hair right.
Mm-hmm.
And she'll pop, and that's what we need her to do this. And there's men like that. I mean, you look at them and you go, this guy's not really that attractive, but he is when you put the camera on him, and that's what matters.
Right.
So it's a certain, and so I'm pretty good at walking through a group of people and picking out the people that will pop. We did that for the pharmacy scene, so she was already in this group of people.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, we're utilizing more of these people. So, that's how some local people got larger roles within the film.
That's great. My brother actually works at UPS, so he might even know her. I'm not sure. But that's awesome, man. That's really cool. That that it's neat that you're able to get people that people wouldn't actually that are just local that you don't see, and that's great. They're just regular people, and that's cool, man. I think that's neat, and there's some talent there, so that's really cool that you're getting local people and stuff. Have you always like sort of like the gore themes of movies, or
I like making horror films. I don't actually. I mean, I do watch them, but it's not my favorite genre to watch. It's not what I go. Tonight I want to sit down and watch this. It's in fact I like gritty crime films better than anything.
Mm-hmm.
But horror is fun to direct. It's fun to create. But and I have an interest in creating it.
Mm-hmm.
I like creepy things to create, but I don't really I don't sit and watch them. I mean, I find most horror to be, it bores me. And so I always am trying to do something that hasn't been done. And in this case, it's sci-fi, but it's sci-fi horror. So, it's a cross of the two genres.
Who's one of your influences when you, in directing and making movies? Who is one of your, influences?
William Friedkin.
Oh, okay.
From The Exorcist.
Okay.
One of my big pride and joys is that he follows me on Twitter. And it's because of the film I don't like to talk about. So he something about that he liked. But I really love William Friedkin, and that is he's one of my so I don't really like The French Connection that much. I think it was overrated. I mean, I understand its value in the time, but I love The Exorcist. And so he's one of my favorite. And the other one, I'm a huge fan of Martin Scorsese. I could sit and watch his films all day long, just never leave the couch. And so I keep trying to do a big what they call one take, where I don't the whole scene is thought out and we shoot it from the camera moving and we never cut, because of Goodfellas, and I never can pull it off. It's so hard to do, but I keep trying. I'm like, one day I'm going to make this work.
Oh, you'll do it. You'll do it. Let's see. Let's give you some more questions. So when is this movie coming out? The UFO one for Kecksburg?
Yeah, Kecksburg will be out on September 12th at the Palace in 2019, and we're hoping to do a limited release in Pittsburgh and a little bit in Roswell area. We'll see what else happens with it. It'll end up on Amazon for a year on regular pay-per-view, and then it'll go to Amazon Prime, and we'll do something with Family Video. People don't even realize Family Video still exists. They have 900 stores nationwide, and then we've already started working on Italian rights and Norwegian rights. So in Japanese. So it'll get real distribution. I rarely deal with a singular distributor because I don't like they cheat you, and so I sell the rights myself for time directly. And that could change with this, but I'm more interested in recouping the money than I am. Okay, oh look, I have this vanity, whatever. My goal is it's a business. So I don't sell. A lot of people get excited. I sold my worldwide rights to blah blah, and there's something nobody knows, and then they sell them again and again, and you never see a dollar. That's a problem in the industry. So, I love Troma though. I would go back to Troma if I had to. So I like Blake Kaufman, and that's pretty cool.
That's interesting.
But this is a much better project than what would normally be taken to Troma Studio.
I see. Will you be no? You said the Palace. Will that be in Greensburg?
Yes.
Awesome. You got to keep me posted. Maybe I'll show up. If I'm not that far away, I'd love to check it out. Let's see. So, are you? So you said you like a lot of crime movies and things like that.
Yes.
Are you thinking on doing any type of
They require anything for $2 million and under to be successful. It almost never happens with something dealing with crime. So you have to have a bigger budget. And so knowing that going in, I have a script that has been rewritten twice. It will be rewritten a third time. And it's going to be presented to somebody. And it's based on real life events that happen in southwestern Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay.
And so there's people that want this story, not necessarily the script we have, made into the film. And that's where, as soon as I can get time, I will focus on that. But right now, I'm all in on Kecksburg. anything else is a secondary proposition. And so, I you know, that problem of being a team of where it's just myself and my buddy Vince is we can only do one thing at a time. And we might have plans for a secondary thing, but it has to be put on a back burner. And so that's where it's at. I mean, we know who it's going to be given to, and it's a major A-list star. I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff with it, but it is very. I mean, these things are always. You have stuff in development and it doesn't go anywhere. You have stuff in development and it doesn't go anywhere. And this thing has been presented in different forms in different places, and it's still just hanging out. And so, it's already got 3 years of trying to get it there. So it'll happen one day. But when it's not going to be me making it. It's going to be getting the right star and then the studio and all of that.
Right.
It's a whole bigger proposition. They'll have very little control of it. Once it's in their hands, they'll just do what they want. I'll just sit back and go, okay, my name's on it.
That's great.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy the process of making the film and what I envisioned. So, but I've never really gotten what I've wanted. And with Kecksburg, I'm getting more than I wanted. So this is exciting.
Good.
Other than we're always chasing money. We have to raise another like $7,000 to complete the film. So I spent most of the day chasing money, like I do every day on it.
So, like I said, that'd be really interesting to see that crime thing. Is it? What can you give me a little where?
Oh, it's based on the Election Day massacre in Washington County. And it's based on former District Attorney John Pettit, and it was a double homicide. It was a big story in Washington County for years. I actually was a reporter that covered it, so that's why I know it so well. Okay,
I never heard of it. I don't know why.
You look it up. Fred Brill and Martin Brawler killed in a bar in 2002. I believe it's 2003. I think it's 2003. Anyways, they're gunned down in a Price's Tavern in Washington County.
Okay.
And it's somewhere 15 years. Wow. But the end result of that was, by 4 years later, my marriage was crap. My whole life was a mess. But is what it is.
Yeah.
I'm in a better place now.
Yes, that's great. I'm glad you are. Like I said, I can't wait to see the Kecksburg movie. I think it'll be awesome. It'll be also good for just the community itself. I mean, for Western Pennsylvania, and thank you so much for even, coming out, doing a lot of things here. We always appreciate that, and what you're trying to do as far as making some movies here and stuff, because I think it's great that people show interest even here. I mean, I've talked to a lot of other directors and movie makers and stuff like that all over the U.S. so far, and you're the second one I've talked to that I've talked to from Pennsylvania. I've talked to Todd Chamberlain. Do you know him?
I do not. Hello?
Yeah.
I do not. I do not know Todd.
Yeah, Todd's from out Wilkes-Barre, around that area. So
okay.
It's really cool that I've got a chance to talk to two guys from Pennsylvania. And since you're from my neck of the woods, it's even cooler yet, to talk to you. Like I said, when I found out that you were doing this, because I actually saw it in the paper, and a friend of mine said something, and I was like, I gotta have you on, since I'm from here and I know, pretty much a little bit about the Kecksburg thing and all, and I was just happy that someone's actually going to make a movie about it, even though it's still a little on the fiction side. But I think it's great. I think it's great that you show interest in, this part of the, this part of the woods, so to speak. And there's a lot of cool things in Pennsylvania, all over that makes for good movie making and stuff like that. So that's I think that's awesome. That you're doing what you're doing, you know.
Well, thank you.
And like I said, so your movie will be out sometime in September, and it's the
Yep.
UFO movie of Kecksburg, Pennsylvania. And and thank you so much for coming on my show, Cody. I wish you the best of luck. Keep me posted on some stuff you're doing, and heck, maybe you'll be able to get a chance to meet you in person when you come over to Greensburg. That'd be awesome.
Cool.
Okay.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you.
Hey, thank you so much, Cody, and I really appreciate you coming on. And best of luck to you in the Kecksburg movie. And we'll talk to you later. I will also, Cody, I will throw some of your. If you give me any kind of, I'll try to get your trailer or whatever of the Kecksburg movie. I can throw it on my wall, and I will also put it in my page that I have, so people will check it out and get some more response, maybe from even some of the people that local people. I'm friends with a lot of people from around here, so get some more local response for you.
Awesome. Well,
Okay.
thank you, and look forward to meeting you.
Yeah, that'd be great, Cody. Thank you so much, Cody, and you have a great night.
All right. See you, Jim. Bye-bye.
Right. Bye-bye. That was Cody Knotts. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us tonight. And don't forget to look out for the Kecksburg UFO movie with Cody Knotts. It's from around here in Pennsylvania, which is awesome. I really enjoy talking to directors, movie makers. I mean, they're the ones that have this passion about, doing movies. So check it out when it comes out, guys. I'll keep you posted. Like I said, thank you so much for joining us tonight. This is Jim Seacrest, the all around, all over podcast. Sometimes I forget. Sorry. But thank you guys so much for joining us. Please subscribe. We need subscribers. So if you could subscribe, that'd be great. Also, check out some of the movies that Cody Knotts has made. Like I said, I have his, let's see, such as Lucifer, The Unholy Dare, and Gore Orphanage, which was made in Scottsdale, which is awesome. And like I said, the Pro Wrestlers versus Zombies looks really good with Roddy Piper and a lot of the cast of the wrestling things, like I think it was Shane Douglas. Let's see, who else? I can't think of his name, and nobody's here to help me out. But anyway, check out these movies, and we'll talk to you later.